Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope you've been having a wonderful day grinding out the Oaths of War. So this has been a really nice pass. A lot of changes, and we'll show you some of the little tips and tricks that I'm using to be able to progress through this thing. So one of the things, I did have gold saved up because I typically buy the premium pass, which gives you extra gold in that pass, and you can save that up, which we've been doing for about a year now. So it's been nice to just come in, and I went ahead and bought the advanced pass, which comes with the 20 tokens, and then I picked up another few and went ahead and got the frigate. You don't have to do it that way. I'm going to show you some different ways to do this and what I've been doing to earn my points so far. So first things first, if you're going to be building your frigate, you have to have what is called deep iron. So you have to come up here to your shipwright after you get that blueprint, and you're going to see that it requires this deep iron. Well, where do you get deep iron? Well, you're going to pick up that deep iron at the new mega fort. There's also another location if you're earning guild marks. If you're wondering where can you earn guild marks, you can earn this in tier 1 or tier 2. It is totally up to you, and the same rules apply for like getting to Kupfer bars, Fangs of the Fara, running over here to Hunter Hunted, coming up here to the Treacherous Turn, and then over here to to the Show of Strength. Also convoys and stuff, they pay you those as well. There are some things that still pay Kupfer in the game, even though it's an outmoded currency. That's going to be like the heads that you turn in, you'll get Kupfer, which you can then trade in for silver later when they add that trade-in feature in the game. But that's going to get you that. Now, you're going to be tempted to do like what I was going to do, which is to just focus on getting guild marks and just buying the deep iron from Blackwood. I'm going to show you why that's not a great idea. It's not bad to get you started, but you're better to use those to buy weapons and things like that, and furniture. The reason for that is if you look at the weekly seasonal items, that is where your deep iron is going to be located. And that's a 7-day, right at 7-day cooldown. So while you can buy a total of 10 from him here, and then over at Talak, that's going to give you effectively 20. You then have to wait a week to be able to get it. Up to you if you want to spend your infamy or your infamy, your gilded, your guild tokens on that. I'm going to show you something on your infamy here that is tied into guild tokens, by the way. So then, of course, you're going to be able to pick up some of the older things that we've had in the past. You can pick up some of these weapons, of course, and then, of course, your ship blueprints are now all available here within the general store of Blackwood. Now, what is the quickest way, in my opinion, to get those guild marks? Well, one, we showed you that. If you remember, there is a leaderboard, and every week this is going to load up. And also right now, the seasonal is where you really want it, because you start earning quite a bit. 700 guild points, then 800, then 1,000, coming on up through the gold, and then of course it would seem like there's a platinum or something like that. And then weekly, it'll have a weekly rate as well that you're going to be able to earn that up. So that's going to be a great way to get that. I'm doing that right now, and what I'm doing is I am buying the weapons and the furniture and the armors and stuff as well. So we have that great armor that he has in here. Went ahead and put that on the schooner. I'll show you what those effects are. Now, there's a couple great ones that you can get. I love AoE. I'm a DPS guy through and through, and I like anything that I want to use defensive. It should have an offensive perk. I want to get the most out of my currency when I spend some things. So when we come over here, we're going to look at our armor, and this is called the Nova armor. It has a reactive armor that triggers an explosive when hit while bracing. So if you're bracing and they shoot you, you're then going to send out a explosive pulse that is going to have 3,500 damage for a 100-meter blast radius. So that's going to be pretty awesome. There's a 10-second cooldown. This thing is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. It's going to be great on those frigates, which, by the way, we have the frigate, and I'm going to show you what it takes to upgrade that. Obviously, it takes deep iron. It takes 10 to build her. Then you're going to look at 30 to get to the next upgrade, and then it's 35 for the upgrade after that, and that is currently what I'm working on right now. And while I have already bought my weekly limit of deep iron, it happens very quick, folks. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. So 15 to 35, I need to get back on it. I've kind of pulled off, been playing around with some other things at the moment. Now, when I've been running, you have to be in tier 2, is the mega fort wolvenhol. Okay, now I'm going to travel out here. We shouldn't get an aggro just by showing you. I want to show you the key points when you load into this. You have to actually load into it from that screen. Now, there is a mission that you get this season that's going to basically have you load into it. Don't be afraid, because you're not going to be going at it by yourself. You do not load this the way that you typically would, like Houston or something like that. This totally different setup, so you can't accidentally trigger it. You can tick the ships off around it, but you're not going to accidentally trigger this thing. You're going to have to really, really try at it to make it mad. So, okay, so when you hover over it, it's just like the Vikram, where you had to hold X. If you're on Xbox, guys, square for PlayStation. I don't know what it is on computer, but you would actually start it and it loads you up in a queue. So that's going to be pretty awesome. It loads in and there's always 20 people there. But I want to show you what it is that you're going to be shooting at here, because if you don't know, it's going to mess you up. So if you look right here at these lower walls, these are going to be your first targets, the tops of those red marks. After that, now while you're triggered in there, you've got 3 on the front here and then 3 on the side, on the other front side here, as you can see. After you finish that, you then have to take out the weak points here. This is a weak point right here. This is a weak point right here. Okay? And then you're going to have to focus in on that wall. And it does it in stages. You're not going to be able to go round and round and round like we used to with forts. This loads in on stages. And it tells you what stage you're at and where to go. But I want to show you those weak points, because if you don't know, you're not sure what you're shooting at. Now, there's a couple things you need to be mindful of. Obviously, the freaking guns on the top, they will brutally tear you apart. Then right here you have these lower torpedo walls. These will shoot torpedoes at you like mad. Now, there is a weak spot here in this corner. It runs the full length of this block here, and then one just on the other side as well, and that's like that on both sides of the fort. Then of course you have that wall that he's shooting. I'm guessing those are spring loaders that it shoots. I'm not sure. It's a big broadside of stuff that it'll mess you up pretty good. It always breaks your sails. And then of course you have your broadsides here as well. So like I say, it's not a hard fort, but you don't want to sit in one spot or they will smoke you quick. So after you do that, that's on both sides, guys. That's going to be on the east and west side. It's then going to have you come and you're going to start here. Then you're going to move to this one here. Again, just taking it out in stages. The top section, what is orange here, it lights up red, so that's going to be your weak points. This will be your third stage of it, which I think they actually technically call it stage 4. And then of course you've got some here in the center as well that have to be taken out. And then you have the weak points here again on each side there. Okay, so once that's down, then you will typically have where a weak point on this side of the wall and the other side, because for some reason it doesn't let you shoot the top of it. This is where your sharpshooters, those of you in those Garudas, this is where your stuff's really going to shine, because it's almost impossible to hit it with a bombard. It really is. I'm not even going to lie. I've tried. I can hit it with my front weapon, obviously, but not with my broadsides, because those bombards just don't quite get the loft. But it's going to say to finish taking out the central spire by hitting the weak points. The weak points it's talking about is right at the very tippy top of those. You have to break those. The first ones you take out are the long black spot or gray spot beneath it. The very final tier is going to be this and this on each side. And then of course over on the back as well. So those are going to be some things to keep an eye on. And once you actually take that, it just gives you your gear that you've earned. You don't have to pick it up, and you're going to move back over to the oubliette, is where I've been heading, and then from there you can disembark to wherever you want. But understand, it's loading you into a totally different server every time you do that, and you return to your original server. Now you can load up with 3 friends if you want to, and everybody join in with that. And it will bring all 3 of your buddies as long as they vote to go with you. But understand, when we're running this in the Banished Souls crew, and we're going to be trying to run this with the full community, guys, there may be instances where you're going to end up in a you know, you and your crew is going to end up with random people don't worry about it. Go ahead and stick with it, grind it out, knock it out until they come out with a better way for us to be able to get all of our crew into these things. I don't think they was expecting as large discords to build up as what has been happening. So, but that's kind of where we're sitting at now. But yeah, it's looking pretty nice. I think that there is a lot of stuff to do. You will end up getting a couple chests. One of those chests will have anywhere from 4 to 5, 5 being the max that I've picked up so far of that deep iron. And there is no cooldown on that, so we can restart that. Once it loads you back into your area, you can restart that. Looks like I've earned a couple more tokens on that now. As you can see, just about completed with the pass here. And what I've been doing to run this pass, originally what I was doing is I was actually running around and I was just kind of hitting the, I'm going to show you, they've changed a few things here. If you look over to the left now, it's got the smuggler pass that you have, your upgrade parts and stuff like that. That's going to show you the major items that you pick up in the game here. Okay, it's not all of them, but this is what you spent so many tokens. Once we spend 60, 70, we'll get some more deep iron. That'll be nice to have. Then 80, and then 90, we get that little hippo looking thing. Then of course you have your, this is new, this is like a store where after you earn enough stuff, you can then take these and buy blueprints. You can buy some more of those Thunder Dragon cannons. You can buy these tooling weapon chests. They have a tooling furniture chest. They have a armor chest. They have the item ascension chest. And of course materials chest as well. So that's going to be pretty nice that we get to choose what it is. Once we've completed a pass, we can come into the Pinnacle store and choose exactly what it is that we want to use those points we've been earning on, instead of just getting some random chest. So that's going to be pretty awesome. As you can see, I've just been kind of working on doing 10 plunders. So any plunder, and I've been plundering the big base. We went and did some Mega Fort Houston earlier today. But like I say, one of the things that you're going to end up getting stuff for is the contracts on the bounty boards, your other contracts as well, seasonal contracts, completing 15 challenges. And I've just been, like I say, I've just been taking and grinding out, because you're getting a lot from crafting a frigate, dealing 1 million damage, doing 300,000 damage with the frigate, doing 500,000 with the Thunder Dragon cannons, earning 50,000 pieces of 8, hitting 300 weak points. You're going to be hitting weak points on these ships and all kinds of stuff, mitigating 100,000 damage by bracing, and we're actually completing out the seasonal stuff way before we get the weekly done. And we're going to end up being done with the pass pretty quick that way. And of course, your guild marks, like I said, they are tied into a reward system here, so it's going to help you. It's not going to be the only way to get it. Obviously, you can run those mini bosses. You can go in and earn them from other plunder events and stuff like that within the game. It seemed like we were getting some from Houston in Tier 1 earlier, but you can get a few here and a few there. There's not going to be like a real big amount, and it's not a guaranteed amount. You might get 10 over here running Fangs of Fara, and then the next time you come over it, you might end up getting 30 or 40. So it's not a guaranteed amount. It could be low, it could be high. It's very random the way it's paying out on that. But your leaderboard is a sure way to get that infamy and to be able to pick those things up. Getting infamy, I'm getting my infamy by farming this new mega fort, and that's then converting over to my guild points, and it's also rewarding me with that deep iron. And right now, for me, that's been the best way to do this. So hope you've really enjoyed it, guys. I'm at stage 3, my third, I think it's the third upgrade for the frigate. We've done did 1, so I guess it's technically stage 2. We'll go to it and check it here. I think it'll be technically 2 when this one completes. Yeah, so you build it, then we did an upgrade, and we're coming to the next upgrade. But yeah, it's not a bad ship. It's got some things I'd like to see different about it. But we'll just have to wait and see how this ship evolves. The whole health is just phenomenal on it. Speed's actually pretty impressive. Trimming speed, pretty good, 16 knots. Turning speed, we're going to be doctoring around with some furnitures and definitely be watching for some of those to drop. But I'm not really used to it a whole lot right now because it is only a rank 10, even with all our fully ascended gear on it. So I'm more or less just going to finish upgrading it, and then we'll see how it progresses from there. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Hope it gives you some ideas on how to complete your pass pretty quick. But like I say, one of the best ways to do this thing right now, just start dealing out massive amounts of damage. That's going to complete most of those requirements for you. It's going to earn you some quick tokens as well. But there's no quick way, unfortunately, folks. Y'all have a wonderful day. We're going to hop off here. All right, so the bonus feature, we are going to come and do the new mega for it and show you some of those tips that we had for you and just kind of show you how to work this thing. And pardon me if I don't talk much, guys, during this. It takes some concentration. Okay, so once you drop those front walls, you now have, just like the other one, you have waves where you have to deal with ships, these Commodores, and they do get to use special perks like from PvP. You unfortunately do not get to use those perks, guys, just so you're aware. We're talking the Hunter perk and also that one with the fast firing mortars. They get to utilize those in this thing, so just be aware of it. Once we take out this Commodore Electo, I'm not sure what perk that is. That's something new. As you can see, it's a very, very, very tight fit because everyone has to come in and they only open one section of the fort for attack at a time, so there's no sense in spreading out too much. I imagine we're going to see the level of this thing increase considerably in the days ahead, so my recommendation is to grind it now and grind the crap out of it. There's no cooldown time like what you have at like Houston and stuff. I mean, unless you figure the time to load back out of this and into the other one. You know, you run into a lot of people that park a lot, so you got to really watch where you're driving, or just expect to bump into folks. I don't think people get too mad about it, but you know, it is what it is. And if you get mad about being rubbed a little bit, then you're playing your own game. Okay, that hasn't opened up yet. Okay, let us see. It says sync the commander active. Yeah, we still got. Where'd he go? I thought he's down already. He's not. Here we go. And you will always run into a couple ships. Like I said, man, it's just a tight fit. So don't let it stress you out. Just trim back. I wouldn't run more than just the first diamond on your sails. You gotta get used to the fact that there's frigates on the water too. I'm so used to aiming at frigates. Okay, so now the central keep is the target. Now, as you can see, well, here in a second, the bottom of those walls are lit up red. Those columns, they were gray. You want to take out as much of that as possible. You sharpshooters, y'all be able to hit those tops pretty nice. Those guys that run them Garudas all the time. Healers are they're a blessing in this level with the torpedoes and crap. Sorry, bud, coming through. Did you ever think you'd see DMC using torpedoes? Yeah, if you leave that border like I just did too long, it'll just cannon fire. It's kind of like shooting into St. Anne. You don't last long. So make sure that you don't stay out of the border long if you end up crossing out. And don't let them knock you out because you'll run into these folks. I don't know if they're just not paying attention or they're intentionally griefing people, but they will actually try to shove you out of bounds. So it's just something to be aware of. I think it's accidental, man, but you just never really know. So that's where it starts to get where you need those sharpshooters because it's harder and harder to hit those with the bombard. I mean, we still do good damage, but all right, once the bombardment towers activate, do not sit still. Be on the move. You don't have to be flying across here, but you want to be moving. Watch out for the Commodores. It even pays if you got enough guys that are focusing on the fort. If it pays, it really helps out. If you some folks focus on the crowd control of the ships. So sandbucks could be a great thing to have in here as well. You need to be back, buddy. You're too close. Too close to the wall, man. Alright, see, those weak points up top still need to be taken out. Now there's probably a weak point on this corner here we've missed. Let's check. Oh, those are not activated yet. Okay. There it is right there. Right there in that top corner. Now when the north activates, the other side will come up, but right now it's the south, so you're just going to have that one side. And again, that's a sharpshooter's dream right there. They're kind of hard to hit with a bombard unless you're sitting openly in the torpedo alley here, which it looks like we'll have to do. We do have a couple sharpshooters over here, so I could probably try and run through and see what I can pop. I'm about to get the Garuda out. Not far enough back. Looks like that one's down, and they've now activated the north towers. Woohoo! I love that effect, man. Did some massive damage on him. Boy, eats through some brace. So we have all of those little huts. They're not really huts. I just call it a hut. Man, I wish we could upgrade armor. Turn, baby. Turn, baby. Get back in. Like I say, watch out for folks that come up next to you, because you'll end up pushing each other out of bounds. Like I say, it's not intentional. There's just certain sections of the fort that opens at a time, so you need to be aware of that. You know, there's a lot less room over here, especially when you start getting a lot of frigates. I was in here earlier with my frigate, and it seemed like everybody had a frigate, and we managed to beat it. But like I say, man, there's just no DPS to that thing. Hopefully they're going to do some changes on it. It would not hurt for them to change a few things. Okay, make sure you pick up any weapons and stuff from the ships that you destroy, because you'll get a lot of ascended and even double ascended weapons from that stuff. While our sharpshooters work on that, I'm going to try and focus on some of these ships, if any show up. I thought there was a bark out here. I see my heels flashing up there. And the last tier is just taking out the main keep, which is just pounding away at it. It goes pretty quick. So they do have some new weapons that work for walls. They also have a new rocket. Looks like it has a lot of flooding damage. I mean, you know, obviously sending it, we can kind of personalize it to what we want, but looks like a pretty decent rocket. So I may end up getting it. I've never been one for flooding weapons much, but gotta tell you, man, it looks pretty sweet. When you run through those storyline missions, you get a chance to use the frigate, and that's the auxiliary weapon that's loaded on there. And just having that double aux port, man, that is just freaking awesome. So there we go. That's how you grab that, guys. Nice little cutscene at the end. And it's up to you if you want to wait until you reach land to open up your box, or if you want to do it on the way. I kind of do it on the way or on land. It doesn't really matter to me. I never could wait for Christmas to see what we got. Okay, so 4 deep. That's what I thought with that. We'd end up 4 again. 4 or 5 is usually what you get. You get 5 more often when you're with a team or you're with another player. But 4 is not bad. So then we also got this front weapon ascension box, which will be an ascended weapon, not always fully ascended. Great spring wall that's got a double ascension on it. I will take and salvage that is what I've been doing with it, but you can do with it as you want. You do get masterwork kit from farming this, so that's something to keep in mind. Ooh, I did kind of like that new firework. I have to look see where that's coming from. That may be from the past, I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Right now, if you look, it says leaving call to arms 223 seconds and counting down. You have to wait until that counts down. It will return you to your server that you were in, at which point you can then reload back into it. So you can look at it as a cooldown if you want. You do not have to return to dock to drop off pieces of 8 or anything, not even with Houston anymore. All of that now automatically goes into your bank. For those who were curious, I did find out I went ahead and carried about 2,000 pieces of 8 over to 300,000 because I wanted to double check and see if the rumors were true about the cap or not. The rumors were not true. There is no cap coming into the new season, so but it doesn't hurt to be safe. But yeah, so as you can see, we've accumulated quite a few 8s and been really busting through this pass. If you look at our empire over here to the left, we now are producing 836 pieces of 8 an hour. That was at 520, I think, something like that before the reset. So they've done some boosts somewhere in the system to make it a little bit more affordable to get those 8s. Now, that's going to be pretty sweet when it comes to later in the game. They also went ahead and it's like they put a temporary type of a boost, where you come in, you can boost your products, because I had harvested everything before, and as you can see, we are back up into range to be able to collect. So we need to grab our 8s, send our ships out and pick those up. So definitely make sure you check your helm, guys. I hope this video has helped you out, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching it, at least half as much as I did playing it. Have a wonderful evening.